Jake adjusted the straps on his worn leather jacket as he walked through the crowded spaceport. The hum of engines and the chatter of dozens of alien species filled the air. Merchants shouted over each other, trying to sell goods that ranged from rare metals to strange glowing crystals. Humans were not common here, but those who were clever could make a good living. Jake had spent years learning how to survive in such a place. He was a pilot who could handle any ship, any cargo, and any trouble that came his way. As he passed a row of stalls, a sudden voice called out behind him. "Please, you have to help me." The voice was urgent and high-pitched but not threatening. Jake turned and saw a figure standing at the edge of the crowd. She was unlike any human he had seen. Her skin shimmered slightly under the port's lights, a soft silver blue that seemed to glow. Her large eyes reflected worry, and her hands clutched a small humming container close to her chest. "Who are you?" Jake asked cautiously, taking a step closer. He noticed her eyes darting around, clearly searching for someone or something. "They will be angry if they find me," she said quickly. "Don't let my husband find out. Just fill me up and go." Jake raised an eyebrow. The words sounded strange, almost like a joke, but the fear in her eyes was real. He had learned a long time ago not to ignore desperation. "Slow down," he said. "What do you mean, fill you up? What is this about?" She took a deep breath, clearly trying to calm herself. "I am carrying something very important. It must be refilled, and it must leave this port before anyone notices. If my husband finds out, it will cause a disaster. Please, you are my only hope." Jake glanced at the small container. It was compact but hummed with a low, powerful energy. "This isn't like anything I've seen before," he said. "What exactly is inside?" "It is an energy core," she said. "Very rare. Very dangerous if handled incorrectly. I need you to transport it, but you must act fast. My husband cannot know I am doing this." Jake took a moment to study her. She looked honest, not like a scammer. There was no trick here, just fear and urgency. That alone was enough for him to agree. "All right," he said. "I'll help. But you have to trust me completely. I don't make mistakes with cargo." Her eyes lit up with relief. "Thank you." I knew humans were clever. They hurried through the port, avoiding security checkpoints and curious onlookers. Jake's ship waited at the far end of the docking bay, an old but reliable freighter he had patched together over the years. Its engines were loud and temperamental, but it had gotten him out of countless tight spots. As they reached the ship, Jake examined the container more closely. It had strange symbols etched into its surface and glowed faintly, pulsing with energy like a heartbeat. "This is some serious tech," he muttered. "Where did you even get it?" She shook her head. "It is not important. Only that it reaches its destination safely. You must trust me." Jake nodded, and together they loaded the container into the cargo hold. Lyra, as she finally introduced herself, watched anxiously as he secured it. "Hurry," she urged. "They will notice if it is missing." Jake checked his systems one last time. "We're ready," he said, climbing into the pilot's seat. He could feel the excitement building. He had handled dangerous deliveries before, but something about this mission felt different. It wasn't just the energy core or the alien's fear. It was the mix of risk and mystery that made his blood run faster. The ship lifted off, leaving the bustling port behind. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, a dark canvas speckled with light. Lyra sat beside him, her hands folded tightly in her lap. "We must avoid patrols," she said. "They watch everything. If they catch us, they will seize the core and punish me severely." Jake grinned. "Then we won't be caught. Humans are good at slipping through tight spots." They navigated through asteroid fields and dense debris clouds, using small twists and turns that would have made most automated systems lose track. Lyra watched in amazement. "You are human?" she asked. "I thought humans were fragile compared to us," Jake laughed. "Fragile? Maybe smart. Definitely. We survive because we think, we adapt, and we take chances others won't. That's how we last." As they sped through space, the tension slowly eased. Lyra explained more about her world, her society, and why her husband's rules were so strict. Her people valued control over energy resources above all else, and she had acted without permission to protect something that could have catastrophic consequences if misused. "You are lucky I trust humans," she admitted. "Most would never understand, but you act without fear and you think quickly. That is rare," Jake smirked. "Fear is useful, but panic gets you killed. You learn the difference after enough close calls." Hours passed as they carefully avoided detection. The stars streaked past in long lines, and the hum of the ship's engines became a constant background noise. Jake's mind was alert, always checking scanners, always predicting the next obstacle. Lyra's fear gradually turned into cautious hope, trusting him more with each passing minute. Just as they approached the outer boundary of the sector, a sudden alarm blared. Red lights flashed inside the cockpit. "What is it?" Lyra cried, her hands gripping the console. Jake's eyes scanned the readouts. "It's a message. From your husband, I think." A holographic projection appeared, showing a stern figure with dark eyes and an aura of authority. "This is a warning," the projection said. "No energy cores are to leave this planet. Any violation will be met with severe consequences. I am watching." Lyra's face went pale. "He knows. Somehow," she whispered. Jake's jaw tightened. "We have to think fast. We can't let him stop us, and we can't risk your safety." For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The tension was thick, pressing down on them like gravity. Then Jake smiled, a small, confident grin. "Don't worry. Humans have a way of solving problems that even the most careful observers don't expect. We'll get this done." Lyra's eyes shone with a mixture of hope and fear. I trust you," she said softly. The ship shot forward, diving into the darkness of uncharted space. Ahead of them were countless dangers: alien patrols, asteroid fields, and the ever-present threat of detection. Behind them, the stern hologram faded, a reminder that failure was not an option. Jake's fingers danced over the controls, adjusting thrusters and navigation paths. Every move was precise, every decision calculated. He felt alive in a way he rarely did, knowing that his actions could mean the difference between success and disaster. Lyra leaned back, holding onto the container as it pulsed softly. She could feel the subtle vibrations through her hands and imagined the consequences if it were mishandled. "We will make it, won't we?" she asked. Jake glanced at her, eyes steady.
"We have to."
"And we will. Just trust me." The stars stretched into streaks of white as they entered a denser part of space. Every twist and turn brought them closer to their goal, but also deeper into danger. Yet with every challenge, Jake relied on his human instincts, improvising and adapting in ways no machine or alien observer could predict. As the boundary of the sector came into view, a new challenge loomed. Alien patrol ships appeared on the scanners, closing in fast. Lyra's grip on the container tightened. "They will catch us," she exclaimed. Jake's eyes narrowed. "Not if we think faster than they do." He flicked switches and punched coordinates into the navigation system. The ship lurched, diving into a dense asteroid field with precision that made Lyra's stomach churn. Patrol ships followed but struggled to keep up with his unexpected maneuvers. "This is incredible," Lyra gasped. How are you doing this?" Jake smiled, a glint of pride in his eyes. "This is what humans do. We survive, adapt, and never give up, even when it looks impossible." The ship twisted, turned, and slipped through the rocks like water flowing around stones. Behind them, the patrol struggled, eventually giving up the chase as they could not predict the ship's path. Lyra let out a long breath, relief washing over her. I can't believe it. You actually did it," Jake grinned. "We did it, and we're just getting started." She looked at him, her expression a mix of admiration and gratitude. "I knew humans were clever. I didn't know this clever," he chuckled. "Stick with me, and you'll see just how far human ingenuity can take you." As the ship sped into deeper space, both knew the journey was far from over. More challenges lay ahead, but for the first time in a long while, Lyra felt hope. And Jake, as always, thrived on the thrill of the impossible. Somewhere out there, beyond the stars, the real adventure was just beginning. The ship glided through deep space, the hum of its engines steady against the vast silence of the stars. Jake adjusted the controls, scanning the surrounding area for any sign of pursuit. Lyra sat beside him, her eyes fixed on the glowing container. Though she had admired his skill before, now she watched with awe as he navigated with near-perfect precision. "We need a plan," she said quietly. "My husband will not stop at just a warning. He will send more ships, stronger ships, faster ships, and this time, they will not hesitate to capture the core by force." Jake nodded, his jaw set. "Then we need to be smarter than them, not just faster. Humans are good at seeing opportunities where others see walls. We'll create a diversion, make it look like the core has gone somewhere else, and slip through the cracks." Lyra frowned. "Do you think it will work?" Jake gave a small grin. "It has to. We don't have another choice. He began to outline the plan. They would use an abandoned space station on the edge of the sector. It had old docking bays, broken communication systems, and plenty of shadows to hide in. Jake intended to leave a decoy container there, fooling any pursuers into believing the energy core had been intercepted. While the patrols investigated the fake target, they would slip away undetected. As they approached the derelict station, the tension grew. Rusting metal jutted into space at strange angles, and debris floated lazily around the long-abandoned structure. "Perfect place for a trap," Jake muttered, "and a perfect place for humans to think fast." He maneuvered the ship carefully, dodging jagged pieces of metal and keeping the container secure. Lyra held her breath as he executed a series of complex turns, his skill evident in the smooth, almost effortless way the ship responded. Once docked, Jake and Lyra transferred the energy core to a secondary container he had prepared. This decoy would look and behave exactly like the real thing. Jake rigged it with a subtle energy pulse, enough to make any scanners register a signature similar to the original. "There," he said, stepping back. "Now it's time to play the long game." Lyra watched, impressed and nervous. "And the patrol ships?" "They'll find the decoy soon enough," Jake replied. "And when they do, we'll be long gone." Sure enough, as they moved back into open space, the first signs of pursuit appeared on the scanners. Multiple ships converged on the derelict station, clearly detecting the decoy's energy pulse. Lyra's eyes widened. "It's working!" she exclaimed. Jake smiled. "It's always good when a plan comes together." As they navigated through the asteroid field beyond the station, Lyra asked, "How do you stay calm under pressure like this?" Jake leaned back in his seat, fingers resting lightly on the controls. "Humans survive because we adapt quickly. Pressure teaches us, forces us to think. Fear is a tool if you use it correctly. Panic is useless, but focus wins battles." Lyra nodded slowly, absorbing his words. I have never met anyone like you. Even my people, with all their technology and experience, would not think this way." Jake chuckled softly. "That's the thing about humans. We make mistakes, yes, but we learn fast. And sometimes the things that seem impossible are just problems waiting for a solution." Hours passed as they carefully plotted a course through uncharted space. They avoided known patrol routes and stuck to shadows cast by asteroid fields. Every so often, sensors picked up a faint signal. Alien ships searching for the energy core, but each time, Jake used quick thinking to slip past undetected. Finally, they reached the boundary of the next sector, where friendly human traders waited to receive the energy core. Jake contacted them, confirming the delivery while keeping details vague. "It's secure," he said. "No one can trace it back here." Lyra's relief was palpable. "I cannot thank you enough," she said. "Without you, this mission would have failed and the consequences would have been terrible." Jake shook his head. "We did this together. Humans can do clever things, but it's teamwork that makes it possible. You trusted me and that made the difference." As they approached the delivery point, Lyra glanced at the container. "Once this is filled, my people will have the energy they need without any harm. And my husband. He will never know how close he came to disaster." Jake smiled. "That's the beauty of being human. We make the impossible look easy and the tricky situations less so." The transfer went smoothly. Lyra's allies took the core, verifying the energy without opening the container fully. Jake stayed with the ship, scanning the area for any signs of interference. Not a single patrol ship appeared. His strategy had worked perfectly. After the handoff, Lyra turned to him with a small smile. "You have my gratitude, Jake, more than you know. My people will speak of this mission for generations, and they will remember the human who helped us." Jake shrugged, pretending to be modest. "I just did my job. Humans are good at solving problems. It's what we do." As they prepared to leave, Lyra hesitated. I hope we can meet again," she said softly. "Not for missions, but as friends." Jake nodded, his grin widening. "I think we'll see each other again. Humans like to take chances, and you just gave me a reason to do so." The ship lifted off once more, gliding silently into the depths of space. Jake reflected on the journey, realizing that it wasn't just the thrill of adventure that made humans remarkable. It was their ability to think, adapt, and survive against all odds. Lyra watched the stars streak past, her fear replaced by admiration. "I knew humans were clever," she whispered. "I did not know they could be heroes," Jake chuckled softly. "We don't always get the credit, but we do what needs to be done." That's how humans thrive, how we last, and how we make a mark, even in a galaxy full of species far older and wiser than us. As the stars stretched endlessly, Jake and Lyra shared a quiet moment, knowing that their paths had crossed in a way that would never be forgotten. The adventure was over, but the memory of daring, ingenuity, and trust remained, a testament to human resilience. Finally, Jake set a course for the nearest human outpost. He would continue his work as a pilot, taking on missions others thought impossible. But now he carried something more than experience. He carried the knowledge that humans could outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast even the most powerful forces in the galaxy. Lyra returned to her duties, her mission complete. Yet she carried with her a newfound respect for humans. She knew that in a universe filled with advanced technology and rigid rules, there was one thing that could never be underestimated: the cleverness and courage of a human being. As the ship disappeared into the darkness, both felt a sense of accomplishment. The energy core was safe, the mission a success, and the human pilot had proven once again that wit, courage, and adaptability could overcome even the most daunting challenges. And somewhere in the distance, the galaxy continued to spin, full of dangers and opportunities, waiting for the next human to rise to the occasion. Jake smiled, fingers resting lightly on the controls. No matter what came next, he knew one thing: humans were more than capable of facing it head-on, and that was a truth no alien fleet, no rule, and no obstacle could ever change.